This is Algebra 1, Semester 2. It's a unit called Exponential Functions, and it's unit number 4. And it's a lesson called Solving Exponential Equations Practice, and it's lesson number 4 inside of unit number 4. So it's on creatormath.com under the Algebra 1 tab. You might have to Google creatormath.weebly.com to find the site. The instructions are copy the following problems into your composition book on the correct pages according to the table of contents with the notes for those pages from creatormath.com. So each time I do one of these videos, pretty much each time, sometimes I miss it or forget and or get lazy, but usually I show you how to find those notes. A little bit difficult at first. Once you find them, usually you can get back to it. But the website name is creatormath.weebly.com. If you type that into Google, hopefully you can find this homepage, which looks like this. Any questions on the composition book, please scroll down from here. Students are always asking about the composition book, and it is complicated, I'll give you that, but read these directions, watch these videos, adhere to these turn-in dates, and then put these things on the specific pages that it outlines here. And then as far as the notes go for the lessons, for that we have to go over to the class tab. Under the class tab you should find 5 things. The 5 things include the notes, the practice set, which we're going to do right now, the video of the practice set, which we're making right now, the page numbers on which the notes go in your comp book, and the PDF of the vocabulary practice for the entire school year. So this PDF is downloadable to your device, and it is searchable, you guys. So just Google how do I search a PDF with whatever type of device you're using, and follow those directions. It's a little bit different depending on the device you're using. So with that said, we're going to scroll down to the proper semester. Once we find the semester, we're going to find the table of contents. These table of contents are very important to me, and I hope to you. What you're going to do is copy these into your composition book on pages 2 through 6. The important aspect about these table of contents is, even though they're long, they're like 3 pages long and probably take you 30-40 minutes to copy into your comp book. They give you the page numbers and outline of what goes where in the comp book for the entire semester. So that's why it really helps you to, once you get those copied in, you can use it to help you understand what goes on what pages. Notice the page numbers around these, each lesson. Now we're going to scroll down and see the unit we're looking for, which is exponential functions. Where'd you go? There you are. So here's the unit, see exponential functions, and these are lessons within it. We're on lesson 4 right now of exponential functions, so here's 4 down here. So solving exponential functions, these are the page numbers on which notes go in your composition book. This is the notes tab here. I'm going to skip it right now because I'm in a hurry, but open that up. You're going to put those in your comp book, and that'll help explain the problems we're about to do. This is the problem set we're going to do, and then the video solution we make will be linked right here if everything works out right. All right, so with that, let's go straight to the problems, and I'll just explain them as we go since I didn't tap into the notes right there. So this is solving exponential equations, right? So here's an exponential equation. 10 to the x power equals 100. It's just like any other equation you've done in your life. You know, you're asking what does x have to be to make this statement true? Well, if x is a 1, that would be 10 to the 1 power, that would be 10. 10 is not equal to 100, so 1 is not correct. But let's go to 2. 10 squared is 10 times 10. 10 times 10 is 100. 100 does equal 100. That would make this statement true if x were 2. So that's what we do when we're solving equations, right? In this case, x is 2, and this is an exponential equation where this is an exponential involved, and the variable is up in the exponential position, right? It's in that superscript position. All right, let's see what we got next. Solve the following exponential equation. This is 2 to the x equals 128. Well, use your calculator if you need to, but I know that 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, how many is that? Times 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. 16 times 2 is 36. 36 times 2 is 72. And 72 times 2 is 128. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If x were 7 and we had 2 to the 7th power, that would equal 128. So what is x in this case? Power of 7, right? Or x equals 7 in this case. Okay, so far so good. Let's move to another step. Here's a classic equation solving technique, and we're only going to go into the very basics of equation solving because this is an Algebra 1 class. What we've got here is 10 to the power 3x minus 5 equals 10 to the power 4x plus 5. So look at that. This is crazy, right? Now we have our variables and other values up in the power. And we have a base of 10. Well, there's a trick to this. As long as we have a identical base, we have a base 10 here and a base 10 here, these can be canceled on both sides. And what happens is these superscript powers come out to now be to stand alone. Okay, so 3x minus 5 now is equal to 4x plus 5. So 4x, there we go, plus 5. So the identical powers allow us to move these out, bring them right down to the normal level of, and now it solves just like a regular equation. If we subtract the smaller number of x's from both sides, and then we subtract the 5 from here and 5 from here, we get 1x on the right. These disappear. The equals is in the middle. These disappear. Minus 5 and minus 5 added is minus 10. So x equals minus 10. We can reverse it. X equals a negative 10. So, oh, actually, they just wanted to know what to do. Look, they're taking us in baby steps. Cancel the 10 power on both sides. Cancel those out for 3x minus 5 equals 4x plus 5. So this is the correct answer to this one, because they're just asking for what's that first step. Now they're asking us to solve this, which is what we did here, and get x equals negative 10. So they're taking us through in baby steps and just getting us to practice the idea that if we have a base power, a base on both sides that's identical, we can cancel those bases and the powers come down and can be solved directly. All right. All right, looks like we got another one. What's the first step if we have 3 power? So this is 3 to the power of 4x equals 3 to the power 2x plus 8. Right, we can do the same thing, cancel the powers. That's what they're asking us to do. And we're going to end up with, now, 4x equals 2x plus 8. And that's what they're saying. Go ahead and solve it now. So subtract the x's from both sides. The smaller amount is the easier way to do it. So this is a 4x on the left and a 2x on the right. The 2x is a smaller amount. Subtract those. Why? Because we're now left with a positive number of x's, right? If we subtracted 4x's from both sides and it's larger, we'd end up with a negative 2x over here, and that just gives us one more step to deal with the negative. So 2x equals 8 divided by 2, x equals 4. Okay. Let's see, one more? Okay, so one more. That's all they're doing with us. If we have a 7 raised to the power negative 3x minus 5 equals 7 raised to the power negative 5x minus 1, we can cancel both of those 7 raised to the power of, right, and just be left with the others brought down and solve that equation directly. So we're left with just 3x minus 5 equals minus 5x minus 1. We're going to subtract the smaller number of x's, deal with the smaller number of x's. In this case, it's a negative 5 is smaller than negative 3. So add 5x to both sides. Then we're going to come over here and add 5 to both sides. The 5's are gone. 5x minus 3x is 2x. The 5x's are gone. And 5 minus 1 is 4, and there's still an equals in the middle. Divide both sides by 2, and x equals 2. All right. So very simple introduction to exponential equations, and one of the simple tricks is if you have a base, the same base on both sides, you can cancel them and bring down whatever's in the power to a regular level and now solve it like we did before. Make sure you're matching up the title of this video with the practice set you're doing, otherwise it's not going to make much sense. This is Algebra 1, Semester 2. It's a 4th unit called Exponential Functions, and it's the 4th lesson called Solving Exponential Equations Practice. It's on creatormath.com under the Algebra 1 tab. Hope this helps.